I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Like Millet might have won this. He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... Called the Tricky Triangle by some, three-cornered Pocono Raceway is utterly unique. Situated in the Pocono Mountains of northeast Pennsylvania, the 2.5-mile tri-oval features 3 very different turns connected by straightaways of varying length. Turn 1 banked at 14 degrees, Turn 2, the tunnel turn, is banked at 8 degrees, and Turn 3 at 6. Pocono's main straightaway, the longest on any North American speedway at 3,740 feet. The Long Pond straightaway stretches 3,055 feet between turns 1 and 2, while the run from turn 2 to turn 3 is a mere 1,780 feet. The resulting speedway poses special demands on drivers and car chief alike. For a chassis that works well on the steeply banked turn 1 will be less than ideal for the flatter turn 2, let alone turn 3. The downforce necessary for maximum grip in any of the turns will slow a car on the 2 long straightaways, and turn 3 requiring heavy braking, in some cases even a gear change, making Pocono Raceway among the world's most challenging ovals. Pocono Raceway first opened for business in 1969, featuring a 3/4-mile oval. The 2.5-mile speedway was completed in 1971 and immediately began hosting one of the jewels in IndyCar racing's triple crown of 500-mile races. Local hero Mario Andretti battled the likes of A.J. Foyt, Al and Bobby Unser, Johnny Rutherford, Gordon Johncock, and USAC-sanctioned IndyCar races. NASCAR was also at Pocono from the early days, as witnessed by the fact that Richard Petty won NASCAR's inaugural Pocono 500 in 1974. Pocono also staged a number of Top Flight Sports Car Series races in its combination road course/oval layouts in the 1970s and 80s, as well as various short track events in the original 3/4-mile oval encircling the pit area. No road racing tonight, though. It's the No Bull Racing Series. It's coming up next here on HBR TV. Qualifying just getting underway here at the Speedway. Let's take a look at the race details for tonight. The 75-lap race. Stage break will be at the completion of lap 25. Air temperature 78 degrees with 89% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and a 95-degree track temperature coming down. That's pretty cool here at the Speedway, though. Qualifying times should be certainly impressive. With that, let's go down trackside and see where everybody is stacking up in the Q session. Right now, it's the 42 of Kevin McCann with a 54.81, his fastest lap. Chris Mefford on the track. Timing tower shows the 46. He'll have the 84. Definitely a throwaway lap for Mefford as he's kind of swinging the truck here left to right, trying to get some heat in the tires. Top 2 times, though. Top 3, really. McCann, Millett, Neil Quick. Some not-so-surprising faces to see here at the front of the field. Cody Anderson in the stream chat. Let's go, 21. 21 being Jesse Redding. Right Turn Racing. Again here with Chris Mefford. A lot of drivers picking Chris to be the one to beat here tonight. First lap from Mefford, 56.93, but don't pay no mind to it. That second lap likely to be faster. You saw initially he was weaving back and forth, trying to get some heat in those Goodyear Racing Eagles. Again, if anybody's wondering, hey, where's Eric tonight? Eric is on a little bit of a vacation with his better half. Gave him the night off. I don't think he'll be in here. He mentioned he could make it in some form or fashion this evening, but I don't expect to hear from him. And in fact, you're on vacation, sir. Enjoy it. We got it from here. So Brandon Mefford goes P2. Chris Mefford across the stripe. Where does he land? Sixth quick, 54.980. Ryan Rose, first lap of 55.096. He's out of turn number 3. Oh, locks it down. Quits before it's over. I don't know if Brian got a piece of the fence. It doesn't even register the lap, so that could be an indication of a problem. Bill in the stream chat, my home truck. I'm assuming you meant track, but that's okay. Oddly enough, I'm going to be within, 20, 30 minutes of this place here tomorrow afternoon, not even tomorrow morning. Headed down to Scranton, Pennsylvania myself for the day job. Unfortunately, no on-track action that I'm aware of going on at Pocono. Otherwise, I might stick around. Jesse Redding, 55.295, his fastest lap. He's 15th on the grid. Seems to be just about everybody else has taken their time at this point. Doug Wysocki, Mark Truxell opting not to hit the track for qualifying. Even Zach Millett, who's starting 4th in the stream chat, says, let's go 26. 26 being Keaton Burnett. So we do have some time left in this session. If drivers opt to roll, Doug Wysocki, Mark Truxell, the only two that have not hit the racing surface at this point. But we're going to jump out and get a break out of the way. If they happen to hit the track here, we'll try to get back as soon as possible, cover their qualifying attempt. But if not, we'll be back with our starting grid after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pocono Raceway, the Pocono 300 Noble Racing Series. On the pole with a lap time of 54.814. The number 42 out of the IROC Series, it's Kevin McCann. Outside front row, also from IROC, the number 83 of Brandon Mefford. Row number 2, brother Brian McCann with Brian McCann Racing. He starts in the number 3 spot. Zach Millett with Holler Boys Racing, the 315 will start from the 4th position. Neil Quick with Quick Esports starts 5th. Chris Mefford, also out of IROC, starts 6th. Matt Goodell with Pony Express Racing, he'll start 7th. Chris Goins in the number 28 starts 8th with Alfie Charon Jr., the number 51, starting in the 9th spot. 10th starting position, that's going to go to Brian Rose, the number 89 Track Bar Media F-150. Keaton Burnett, the number 26 out of Lone Star Racing Stables, he'll start 11th with Jeremy Paris, the Speed Clinic Racing, number 24, starting 12th. Starting in the 13th spot, Tristan Sykes, also with Lone Star Racing. The number 99 starts 13th. Alan DeFries, the 71, will start 14th. 15th goes to Jesse Redding. Mark Thomas, good old Brit, in the number 50. Back for some action here at Pocono. He'll start 16th. Justin Johnson returning as well. Lone Star Racing's number 10 will roll 17th. Joe Tucker, Lone Star Racing, former Lone Star Racing driver, now Hostile Intent, will start in the 18th spot. Eric Beadle, 19th. Noah Rainwater, 20th. Carson Conway is going to roll from the 21st position. Brian Torsha, 22nd. Eddie Rose will start from the 23rd spot. Chris Elliott, 24th. Mark Truxell, 25th. Doug Wysocki, 26th. Ignore race control there. He is just that, race control. That's your starting grid for the Pocono 300 here from Pocono Raceway. Field rolling out of pit lane here. One formation lap to get things situated, and we'll be under the green flag here momentarily from Pocono. Kevin Blue says, I'm just here to see Tristan Sykes wreck a teammate. If you guys are new to the stream here, we've got a couple of stream chatters that jump in here and says they're just here to watch a certain individual wreck. It's usually Mike Fahey. It's not always the case. And it's all playful. It's all said with love. At least I think it is. I haven't been told otherwise. Quickly through the tunnel turn. Pace car lights off. These guys better get tightened up. We'll be under the green flag here momentarily. Pace car hard left down pit lane. Kevin McCann and Brandon Mefford hold him down. Brian McCann tried to go a little bit early, has to duck out to avoid contact. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Pocono. Kevin McCann out to an early advantage here at Pocono Raceway. 83 of Brandon Mefford runs P2. Neil Quick third. Brian McCann back to the 4th spot. In 5th, it's Chris Mefford. If you guys want to take a look at this top 5, all 5 of these drivers are recent drivers or current drivers within the IROC series. They ran Pocono here about 2 weeks ago, so definitely very familiar with this place. It's recently on their mind, and that experience is starting to show already here halfway through lap number 2. Kevin McCann drops down out of turn 3. Trying to break the draft just a bit from Brandon Medford and Neil Quick. Comes back up the racetrack to set himself up for the entry to turn number 1. 190 plus miles an hour down into the hard braking of turn 1. I say hard braking, but they're just getting on it enough to get it through the corner. Trying to break the draft again is the 42 of McCann. So it's McCann, Mefford, Quick, the top 3, then another McCann, and then another Mefford. Awfully close to corner exit there, getting almost piece of the safer barrier was Kevin McCann. Razor thin margins here at Pocono Raceway. Out of turn 3 once again. The snake slithers out of 3. Brian McCann's got things well in hand here at the front of the field. A half-second advantage back to the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Neil Quick running in 3rd. Change of line here in the 2nd position. That's Brandon Mefford a little bit higher up through turn 3. Quick stays to the bottom. Quick's going to stay with Mefford here down the front stretch. Man, oh man, you just hear how long they're wide open throttle down into turn 1. Little oversteer for the 2 in the entry point to turn 1. Unchanged here at the front of the field for the last handful of laps. We are 5 laps in. It's Kevin McCann, Brandon Mefford, Neil Quick. Again, he started P5, quickly up to the 3rd spot. Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, again unchanged there. Zach Millett runs back in the 6th position. Millett in behind 84, Chris Mefford. He's got Jeremy Paris out the rearview mirror. Brian Rose working his way through. He's up a couple of spots, looking for 3. Tucks back in behind Jeremy Paris. Let's keep an eye on this battle. Chris Goins, of course, in behind. Seen a lot of improvement out of the 28 of Chris Goins. He's getting further and further towards the front of these fields as this season progresses. Chris Goins with Alfie Charon behind him in the top 10. Got Josh Thomas in the stream chat. Holler Boys Racing in the house. Good luck, guys. Josh, thanks for chiming in, man. Appreciate it. Feel free to stick around and holler at us when you want. Watching this battle right now, it's Alfie Charon and Keaton Burnett. Alfie in the 51, the Prestige Worldwide Silverado. Keaton Burnett just behind him, also in a Silverado. Brian Rose all over the back bumper of the 24 of Jeremy Paris down into turn number 1. Not giving an inch. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact between Rose and Paris. Rose checks up to avoid wrecking the 24. Does a good job. See if Brian Rose goes back on the attack here after that near miss with the 24 of Paris. Seems Brian is back a car length, maybe 2 behind the 24. Again, this would be for the 7th spot. Paris lifting and dropping down to the bottom just a tick earlier than the 89 of Rose. Going to allow Jeremy to drive out of the corner a little bit better. Kevin and Brandon Mefford trying to get away from the field here. They're doing just that. McCann still with the lead. Mefford sticking with him, but they're starting to put some distance back to the 3 of Brian McCann. Quick has dropped back to the 5th position. The 46 machine, that's Chris Mefford. He's up to the 4th spot. Now Mefford's going to be sporting the 84 on the side of his truck. It'll be the 46 in the timing tower. Meanwhile, Zach Millett has taken the 5th spot from Neil Quick. Really can see in that digger camera how much yaw these race trucks have in them sideways through that corner every single lap. We'll take a look at it next time by once again, but man, these guys are wheeling these trucks. Neil Quick under pressure now. Jeremy Paris closing in. It's also back in Paris, back up to the 89 of Brian Rose. Chris Goins there in behind Brian Rose as well. Paris taking a peek to the inside. So this is something we don't see very often, and maybe it's just something. Oh, we have seen Keaton Burnett gets in the fence, exit at turn number 2, pancakes the right side of the truck. Continues on. We stay under the green flag, but right side damage on the 26 machine of Keaton Burnett. Got a pretty significant piece of the wall. If you guys watched it live, Tristan Sykes is going to take the spot also. That's for 12th. Going back to Neil Quick as he continues to free fall through the field here as he does mount a challenge to fight back with Chris Goins for position. You're going to say that it's not common to see Neil Quick in that 2 truck burn his stuff up this early on in the race. We're only 12 laps in. Again, the stage will be at lap 25. Relatively short stage. It's 1/3 the distance of the overall race distance. Quick is usually very good with saving tires. I don't know if he just opted not to or if that's what he's doing now. So Neil Quick was, well, quickly up into the top 3 and is now just as fast, falling back down into the 10th position. Alan DeFries, the next to challenge the driver of the number 2 machine. Speaking of Alan DeFries, he's got a battle of his own to worry about. Tristan Sykes all over the tailgate of that number 71 truck. Down into turn number 1, DeFries still has the spot. This would be a battle for the 11th position. Meanwhile, Kevin McCann still a half-second advantage over the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Looked like Chris Jones might have gotten a piece of the wall on corner exit. Continues on. Still maintains the spot ahead of the 99 of Tristan Sykes. Down the front stretch, Sykes is right there. Let's go on board with the 71. Alan DeFries continues to hold off the 99 of Tristan Sykes. Sykes takes a look to the inside. DeFries slides up the track, gets a piece of the wall. Stays in the throttle. Sykes, if he can keep the draft here, might have a run into turn 1. We'll see. Sykes goes up the high side of the racetrack, might be trying to build a run down into the tunnel turn. Scary place to make a pass, but it's not impossible. Continue to watch this battle for position. This is again for the 11th spot. We're going to take an HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
out, hold your position. I know, man. I think we need to start putting like an age limit on racing or something, you know?
Back at Pocono Raceway under our first caution of the afternoon involving Tristan Sykes. We saw it in the replay. We'll go back to it here in just a moment. Tristan Sykes was battling for position with Alan DeFries. A little loose out of turn number 3. Ended up drilling the, I guess you could call it the sand barrels at pit entry. We'll get a look at it here as he works his way off of turn number 3, battling for that position with the 71 of DeFries. That is a bad day. Definitely don't like to see that. Tristan Sykes, a fast driver out here tonight, out of this one here early before the conclusion of stage number 1. A couple of comments in the stream chat, though. Great race coverage. Sounds very professional. You can hear the enthusiasm in your broadcast. Awesome to watch. Anton Farr, I really appreciate the kind words, man. That's always cool to hear. A little reinforcement to what I'm doing here is a good thing. Tristan Sykes, though, the driver involved in that crash, says, "Let me clear this up, Steve. iRacing decided to minimize itself." That's what Tristan Sykes is going with, and I'm not disputing that. Because if that happens, well, you're trying to drive around the racetrack and you're not expecting it. I don't know what kind of monitor that Tristan is running on, but if it minimized itself completely, like down to the taskbar, it means he can't see anything. So he's going to continue that turn out of 3, drives it straight into the pit wall. Honestly, I mean, I'm kind of impressed he hit the pit wall, but tough break for the 99 out of this one here early for really computer-related issues. It's a tough break for the 99. Tucker family saying excuses, excuses. I could understand it if it was Chris Fahey saying that, but I don't know about the Tucker family. Speaking of the Fahey family, where is Mike Fahey here tonight? I don't see him in the running at all. And now that I say that, I'm pretty sure they put him back on nights, so that certainly puts a damper on his iRacing as far as league nights are concerned. So here we are, lap 20. Caution comes out for an incident out of turn number 3 with Tristan Sykes. You saw a lot of drivers kind of hinting that they're going to head down pit lane. We are very close to the end of the stage. I don't know for sure if they're calling this the stage or not. Remains to be seen. In fact, I may jump out here in just a moment and try and get an answer to if this will be the stage. So it is confirmed that this is not going to be the stage break. Natural caution, we've got time. Again, the pace car lights are off. We're going to get a restart here, lap 22. So a bit of a shootout to close out stage number 1. Did get confirmation from race control that was the case. We've got a bit of a fight here for some bonus points, or stage points for that matter. Kevin McCann, Brandon Mefford, your front row. Then it's Brian McCann and Chris Mefford. Battle of the brothers here this afternoon, at least for our first 2 rows. Zach Millett, Jeremy Paris in row 3, and Brian Rose and Chris Cones. Field working the short chute between turns 2 and 3. Pace car is off. McCann and Mefford lead them down. McCann in the throttle. Good jump for the 42. Kevin McCann with a big advantage right off the bat. The battle is for the second spot. Chris and Brandon Mefford, the brothers, doing battle down the back straightaway, the Long Pond straightaway. One car gets a piece of the wall. It might have been the 315 of Zach Millett, scraping the right sides on the safer barrier. Continues on. Chris Mefford free falling through the field here. I say that, it's only the 4th position. As other drivers get a piece of the wall out of turn 3. Chris Goins, Brian Rose, it might have been Zach Millett again. Alfie Charon trying to take advantage. He's to the inside of the 315 down into turn number 1. Again, the stage will be at the end of lap 25. Noah Rainwater pulling out to pass here inside of Zach Millett. Millett might have damaged that Silverado. He's gotten a piece of the wall twice here in the last couple of laps. Again, no fast repair here in the No Bull Racing Series. He's going to have to fix it the old-fashioned way if that's really the case. Matt Goodell also making short work of Zach Millett. Millett now back to the 11th spot. He's got a problem here. He's going to be glad to get this one over here in just a lap or so. 24 goes on the board. Again, the stage at lap 25. Brian Rose just pushing Chris Goins down the front stretch here, down into turn 1. Makes short work of Chris Mefford. Goins and Rose both go by. Mefford taking a peek to the inside of Brian Rose. Nothing doing just yet, or is there? Oh, Jeremy Paris gets a piece of the wall as well. Kevin Blue also in the stream chat to see Zach Millett get beat. Show up on Sundays, that's really the only time it happens. 3 wide out of turn number 3. Brian Rose, Mefford, Chris Goins. We got trouble? No, we don't. 2 trucks in the wall on a turn 3. They continue on, though. These guys are pushing hard for these stage points. 3 wide down the front straightaway here, down into turn number 1. To get it straightened out 2 by 2. Mefford takes the spots back from Rose and Goins. Alfie Charon looking now to the inside of Brian Rose. On to turn number 1. In the wall. Is it Kevin McCann? Kevin McCann gets a piece of the wall hard. He's got a problem. He slows. Brian McCann takes over the top spot. Jeremy Paris to P2. Chris Goins to 3rd. This is going to end the stage as Brian McCann crosses the stripes as the leader. McCann's going to duck down pit lane.
Caution somewhere, caution.
And we get a caution out of this. This is actually the stage. Not due to the Kevin McCann incident, but man, oh man, what has just happened? Kevin McCann getting a piece of the outside wall. Won the pole for tonight's race. You see the damage on the right side of that DuPont number 42. Tough break for Kevin McCann. hate to go back and do this here, but we're just going to have to rewind it to get an idea of what really happened to the 42 here. He was out in front with the lead. Oh, he was battling with the 83 here, so let's slow it down a bit. So from the blimp coverage, this I think is down in the tunnel turn. Looks like the 83. Chris Mefford gets to the right rear of Kevin McCann, sends him up the track. You see, he does try to check up, but Kevin's going to get a big chunk of it. Mefford's going to rear end him there in that incident as well. And unfortunately for Kevin McCann, it's going to do a ton of damage to that truck. Slides him up the racetrack, has to pit right away. Oh boy. So Brian McCann, the winner last week at Sonoma, he's already got a couple under his belt this season. He's going to win stage 1 of 2. Sticking right with the pace car here. He's going to take every opportunity he has. Try and get to pit lane here, get some time, a little bit of extra distance back to Jeremy Paris. Chris Goins runs 3rd. Chris Mefford and Brian Rose, your top 5. We'll see how this all shakes out here before it's all said and done. Just about everybody down pit lane. Brian Mefford in the pits. Many others as well. Zach Millett is one to watch as well. Right side damage. Really might want to take the opportunity to fix it at this point. I know it's going to send him to the back, but he's got to do it now. No fast repair to rely on. So Brian McCann down and away. Let's see if we can get a word with Brian McCann. Pull him up into the broadcast booth. Get a word with our stage winner. Brian McCann, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a good copy on us?
Hey, I do. How's it going?
It's going well, Brian. Congratulations on the stage win. Certainly a surprise. You saw brother Kevin and Mefford there going at it there. Those two made contact through the tunnel turn, sent the 42 up the track, and you inherit the lead. Walk us through your first stage.
First bit wasn't too good. I was still trying to learn how to drive the truck, so I was a little slower, dropped off, got past, and then that caution came out, and that put us in for pack racing there and made it a little exciting, I bet. But, yeah, we went off into turn 2. Kevin's on the low side, Brandon's on the outside, and I thought they were going to make it through clean, and they were, side by side being a little slow, so I was lining up for a 3 wide in the next turn trying to get the stage points. But, yeah, unfortunately, they got into each other like it. Sucked Kevin up into Brandon, some net code. I don't really know what happened, but I have to go back and look at the replay.
Well, nonetheless, you guys in the IROC series have run this race pretty recently, and it's showing. Most of you up towards the front here. It's the first stage of this race. What's the plan for the next 50 laps?
I should be getting an EOL.
Well, that's not fun.
But, yeah, just surviving, really.
All right, Brian. Well, certainly wishing you good luck the rest of the way, man. Nice job on the stage victory, picking up some valuable points, and just take it easy out there in the back.
Yep, thanks.
It's Brian McCann, your stage winner here from Pocono Raceway. Going to get the UL, I think, here to go to the back. A couple drivers have stayed out through this caution. I'm curious to that. In fact, Eddie Rose did pit lap 19, just trying to pick up some points. So you see Brian McCann drops to the bottom here to go to the back of the field.
Not going. 1 to go.
Going to give it one more time around. We'll take a very short break. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. Back at Pocono Raceway. Stage 1 complete. Lap 31 about to go on the board. Restart coming with Eddie Rose and Neil Quick on the front row. Eddie has stayed out, made his pit stop at lap 19. Neil Quick made his stop most recently under this caution. Checking on the stream chat. Haley a little late into the stream, but we'll take it. Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Haley, thanks for showing up here. We do appreciate it every single race that we broadcast here on HBR TV. Little connection issue out of Eddie Rose. He's out for quite a while there as it's starting to go back to the green flag. He drops it down to the bottom. Not sure if he's just letting everybody go, what the case may be, but the problem is we're coming to green.
Green.
He's got to go first. He doesn't want to issue black flags to everybody. Bit of an issue here on the restart. Chris Mefford takes advantage of it, though. He goes by Neil Quick, Jeremy Paris. That's your top three right now. Mefford, Quick, and Paris, but they battle for the second spot. And contact! Paris and Quick, hard contact. Exit of turn number one. We've got a truck on its roof.
Just double check that for us, please.
Trouble in behind, many drivers involved. Justin Johnson, Jeremy Paris, Matt Goodell. He's already back in the pits. Brian Torsha trying to pull away. Looks like he's going to go straight to pit lane. Millett might have been involved as well. It's unsure. He might have been further back in the pack. Wow. Well, let's try to unpack this one. It seemed that it started with Paris and Quick. We'll start with that. Paris on the bottom. Paris gets real loose, slides up the track. Four-wheel drift up into the two of Quick. They make contact out of the turn number one. Oh, big-time impact. The 50. I think that's Mark Thomas. He just drills those guys. Paris to the inside. Mark Thomas gets by, or does he? Yes, he does. Sorry, Mark Truxell. Thomas was in the 50. You saw that impact outside of the exit of turn one. Big mess getting on a long pond straightaway here at Pocono. Zach Millett appearing to get a piece of this as well. Let's get a look at it on his perspective. 315 way up the racetrack. Checking up already. He sees what's going on. Oh, Neil Quick comes up in his path. Oh, and just a hard T-bone. Keaton Burnett says that his trip through that was insane. Well, let's take a look at it from the in-car perspective. We ride along with Keaton Burnett. It's like a scene out of Days of Thunder in slow motion. Burnett gets through it, I think, without any contact. I want to see it from Mark Truxell's perspective as well. That might have been a good one to see because he did get through this unscathed. On the roof cam with the number 5 Little Tate's Cupcakes machine. You see the wreck happening just up ahead. He checks up, gets right down to the apron right away. Just enough room to get through without hitting the 24 of Paris, and he's in the throttle and back in the running. So, I guess we've had the proverbial big one here at Pocono. Drivers involved, Jeremy Paris. Looks like Brian McCann, Matt Goodell, Justin Johnson, Brian Torsha, Neil Quick, Eric Beadle, Zach Millett, and Eddie Rose. Eddie Rose's crash might have been more related to a connection issue. Pace car lights are off. 1 to go. About a half a lap. We're back to the green flag here. We lap 35. Finishing up third caution of the day. Gonna try and get a look at this from the Tucker perspective. On board with the 13. Wild ride in front of him, but Tucker gets through it. So Brian Rowe is going to be your leader here coming to the stripe. He's going to opt for the outside, or is it Chris Mefford who's just going to stick with the bottom? Jeremy Paris in the stream chat says, quote, make rules and then cannot follow them. I would love to know the specifics of that comment. Something I'm definitely missing. But either way, there might be something there. We had a funky restart, so it could be the case.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air, though. Mefford and Rose, the front row. Chris Mefford takes the top spot with the battle for second between Brian Rose and Chris Goins. Mefford out to an early lead since this restart, but now the battle between Brian Rose and Chris Goins. Out of turn number 3, trying to break the draft. Once again, we see that here. Mefford closing in on Rose, closing in on Mefford, that is. They drop down to the bottom, slide back to the top. Approaching halfway here from Pocono Raceway. Chris Mefford, your race leader. The battle, though, for the second spot still between Brian Rose and Chris Goins. Alfie Charon coming into the fray. Noah Rainwater up into P5. He's up 15 spots on the day. Brian Rose, though, he's starting to get away from Chris Goins. He's closing down on Chris Mefford. Let's ride on board with the driver of the number 89 Track Bar Media Machine. Brian Rose, he is right there, maybe a truck length at minimum off the back bumper of Chris Mefford as they work down into the corner. Rose turns it hard left to the bottom through turn 3. Brian Rose has got some pace. He's right there challenging Mefford for this top spot. Last lap for Mefford, a 55.48, a 47 for Brian Rose. Caution on the speedway.
Fellas, we have got a very, very difficult official this week, so make sure we're minding
Joe
our
Tucker
P's and Q's.
involved in this one. Smoke pouring heavily out of the back of that F-150. Drives away from the scene. Let's see what happened to the 13 truck between him and Keaton Burnett. Keaton just gets a left front below the yellow line, slides up the track. Oh, big time net code, or maybe just took the air away off of Joe Tucker. They both slide big time impact into that inside safer barrier years ago. That wasn't even there. It was all grass. Good thing and a bad thing at the same time. These guys might have been able to get through the grass, or they could have pulled a Davey Allison and been up on the lid. Nevertheless, under caution, fourth one of the day. Joe Tucker with heavy damage, able to drive away. Keaton Burnett also able to drive away from the scene, still heavily damaged. So, of course, out of turn 3, drivers peel on off. Chris Gones stays on the track. So does Alfie Charon, Noah Rainwater. Guys opting to stay on the racetrack for better track position. Maybe banking on some further cautions. Tristan Sykes in the stream chat says, I'd like to make a formal apology to Mike Fahey. I made all those little jokes and karma came running to get me. Meanwhile, pit stops continue. Mefford is down and away. Ooh, close battle with Brian Rose. Who got out first? Looks like it's Mefford. Haley says, please no more cautions. I mean, it certainly does help with the strategy things, and it makes things a little more interesting here at the race, but I get why you say that, Haley. I know it's much, much later out in Sweden. It's 9:24 here in the States and the East Coast. I think it's, what, about 2 o'clock in the morning there? Nevertheless, we're going to jump out and get our final break out of the way. Not a final break, but one more break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Pocono Raceway, pace car pulls down to pit lane. Get the restart here, lap 43. Green flag in the air. Chris Goins leads him down. Alfie Charon to the outside. Back underway from Pocono. Charon slides in behind Chris Goins. So does Noah Rainwater, Mark Thomas, Jesse Redding. Now Mark Thomas involved in that major incident early on. Still manages to stick in the top 5. The 51 of Charon loosened up considerably by Noah Rainwater there in the 3rd spot. Mefford trying to battle up through the top 3 right now. Pit lap 27. Mefford on fresh tires. He's going to charge his way towards the front. Rainwater ducks to the inside of the 51 of Alfie Charon. Through the tunnel turn, side by side. Charon still with the 2nd spot. Rainwater tucks in behind. Mefford with some help now with Brian Rose to the back door, trying to push the 84 through the mix. Sun starting to peek its nose out here at the Speedway. Things getting a little bright at Pocono Raceway. That's a good thing. Raises the track temperature, changes things up for some of these guys. Chris Goins retains the top spot over the 51 of Alfie Charon. Side-by-side battle for the fourth position. Chris Mefford and Brian Rose battling it out. In the wall, Mefford gets into Brian Rose, slides down the track. They all stay and keep it straight, but big-time contact for the track bar media machine between himself and Mefford. Certainly no caution. Jesse Redding now looking to the inside of Brian Rose. Brian drives it in deep, maintains the position over Redding and the 50. That's Mark Thomas. Mefford now up into the 6th position. Brian Rose must have made some pretty significant contact. He's got a lot of straightaway speed that has gone out the window. Losing many spots, slipping back to P12. Lap 45. There's still plenty of racing to go, but the matter's going to be how much repair are you going to need to make that truck competitive. Mark Truxell in the mix as well, running 9th. Justin Johnson had taken a peek to the inside. Johnson crosses over. Truxell slides up the track. Johnson takes advantage of that open door to the bottom, side by side. Out of turn number 3, Truxell and Johnson still side by side for position. The 5 of Mark Truxell, the Little Tate's Cupcake Silverado, maintains that spot over the 10 of Justin Johnson. They are running now 9th and 10th. Jesse Redding just ahead. He trails the 50 of Mark Thomas. Meanwhile, through all this action, Brian McCann has taken over the top spot. Chris Goins regulated back to P2. Again, McCann on fresher tires than Chris Goins. Goins doing a good job maintaining that second spot with only one pit stop under his belt here. Again, he pit lap 27. P1, P3, P4, all on newer tires. That's Alan DeFries, Chris Mefford behind Chris Goins. That battle continues. Now remember, Mefford and Brian Rose made contact on the straightaway. Brian got the worst deal on that one, sent him the right side into the safer barrier. Pretty significant impact, definitely has some damage. Taking a look at Brian now. Left side looks pretty good, but you can even see from this angle the right front damage, right rear damage, and the whole right side's got to be pancaked pretty significantly. Meanwhile, back out front, Ryan McCann, 0.4 of a second advantage back to the 28 of Goins. Mefford and DeFries running 3 and 4. Alfie Charon in 5th. He's got some pressure from his teammate Mark Thomas to the inside. And way down to the bottom, Mark Truxell going wide. Ducks back into line. Thought he had a better run than he did. Mark Thomas now takes the 5th spot. And it's Jesse Redding, Mark Truxell, Doug Wysocki, Alfie Charon back to 9th. Lost a bunch of positions in that first half lap there. Chris Elliott making a move to the inside. Going to move Alvin Sharon back to P11. Elliott quickly and easily takes the spot. Again, Sharon was one of those lap 27 drivers that took the pit stop. Did not opt for this pit stop at lap 40. Chris Goins is seemingly able to make it work, though. He's still out in that second position. Chris Mefford not really doing much to reel him in. He still has some pressure out the back from Alan DeFries. Meanwhile, some drivers opting for pit lane. The 119 of Eric Beadle coming to a stop in his pit box. Certainly right sides going on. Now, strategy-wise, this may not be a bad play, depending on if we go green the rest of the way. With that said, though, Beadle's been in the box for a while here. 27 seconds. Might have been popped for speeding. Well, back out front, Brian McCann with a 1.5 second advantage over the 28 of Chris Goins. AgentDotson.com, Ford F-150. Chris Mefford running in P3. Alan DeFries in 4th. Jesse Redding having a solid afternoon, up to 5th. Getting confirmation on the Eric Beadle machine, having engine issues. It's blown up. So the 119 going to be out of this one here with a failed engine. Jesse Redding running the Claude Haggerty is Super Sponsor Man paint scheme on his number 21. Of course, the primary sponsor of tonight's race, the Pocono 300, presented by Claude Haggerty is Super Sponsor Man. .24 laps to go here from Pocono Raceway. Top two, Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, Chris Goins now in a battle with Alan DeFries for the third spot. Alan drops way to the bottom. Don't know if he got a piece of the wall or not.
Getting ready to have a caution out.
Caution! We do have a yellow.
How are you
Chris
doing there,
Goins in the fence. We saw a little puff of smoke. Didn't see Chris Goins in trouble on the backstretch. Some continued connection issues here with Chris Goins. Well, let's take a look, see what we can find here. Hopefully that wasn't related to the connection issue. Very well could have been the case. You see him spinning here, but he's blinking in and out. Let's go to Alan DeFries here and watch the replay from his perspective, because they were battling for that position. Going to back it up a bit further here. The last point that we see Chris Goins. In fact, we'll go on a roof cam here with Alan DeFries. Chris Goins in the AgentDotson.com, number 28, just ahead of Alan DeFries here as they work the backstretch. And all of a sudden, Chris Goins just disappears. Alan drops down to the bottom. And again, it's just a guess, and there you see it. Nothing Alan could have done there. Chris Goins just disappeared. He did drop to the bottom in case he gained ground on the 28, but still just too close, as nothing as 71 could have done to make a difference there. It's a matter of guessing where the 28 was going to land at that point in that incident. You look in the back, you see the smoke, and then all of a sudden Chris Goins reappears and then disappears and then hits the inside wall. Tough break for the 28. Here we are, fifth caution of the night with 23 laps to go. Solid crowd here at Pocono Raceway. Pit stop's underway. Brian McCann down the pit straight. Just about everybody on the lead lap here going to opt for tires and fuel. Some drivers, though, lucky enough to extend their tire supplies. Again, 3 sets allocated for the drivers tonight. This would be the 3rd stop for many of them, but the 2nd stop for others. So an extra set of tires remain over the wall for some of these drivers. Jesse Redding being one of them. Now, does that mean anything at this point? Well, right now, not necessarily. But if we run about, I don't know, 10, 12 laps, caution comes out again, and the drivers with a set of tires over the wall say, you know what, I'm going to gamble here. I'm going to hit my pit lane here. I'm going to get some fresh rubber. It could work out quite well for them. It's a gamble, of course. Got to kind of look at how many guys opted for that same strategy. But Jesse Redding, this is only his 2nd pit stop of the day, and he runs in the 4th position. So without a doubt, he at least has 1 set remaining. Alan DeFries, he's made 4 pit stops. It's tough to say how many he's taken, if he saved a set or not. Maybe he took fuel only once, but I would have to kind of venture the guess that he's burned up his tire allotment. Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, possibly the same thing. I know they took tires this time around. Looking at the pit stop times for everybody, it's at least 4 tires and then some. Noah Rainwater, maybe some repairs as well to the 05. He runs 12. So we get ready to go back to the green flag. Field doubled up 2 by 2. Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, front row for the restart. It'll be 20 laps to go when we get the green flag. So in a perfect world, for those who have an extra set of tires over the wall, which could possibly be Jesse Redding, Mark Thomas, Noah Rainwater, Chris Goins, albeit he was involved in that crash, he's not on a lead lap. Those drivers have only made 2 pit stops, so without a doubt, they have an extra set of tires over the wall. They would kind of need that caution to come out here about lap 10, maybe, I don't know, 10 to go. Maybe 10 to go, maybe 8 to go at the latest for them to really take advantage of it. You don't want it to come too soon, because then you don't get that much of an advantage. But then if it comes too late, you don't really have time to make good use of that advantage. So it's kind of got to hit that sweet spot. We'll see how it goes. Pace car is off. Brian McCann leads him down.
Green, green, green.
In the throttle. Good jump for the 3. Good response out of Chris Mefford. Got Alan DeFries to the inside in that 2nd or 3rd position, battling for the 2nd spot, down into turn number 1. Brian McCann out to a good advantage. Oh, caution on the speedway already.
Staying out at all.
Not sure what we've got going on. Maybe Noah Rainwater in this one. Indeed. Chris Elliott as well. Let's take a look at it here. These two come together. Eddie Rose is there in the mix, but he gets through it. Looks like Chris Elliott was in trouble early. Let's watch it here. Let's back it up here. Looks like contact with Carson Conway. Conway into 72. Slides up the track. Just looks like he gets into left rear of the 29. Sends Chris Elliott around. Puts us under caution once again. I think this is our 6th one of the afternoon. Rainwater, just an innocent bystander, getting a piece of that after the fact. So, exactly what we did not want to see for those drivers with an extra set of tires over the wall. All this does is just shorten the race, and that window where that extra set of tires would make a big difference. So still plenty of racing to go. Likely to get the restart here, about 16 or 15 laps to go. We're going to jump out and get another HBR TV break out of the way. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Pocono Raceway, 17 laps to go. We're going to be 16 laps to go when we get the green flag here. Pace car lights are off. Field is formed up 2x2. So that means we're going green this time by Brian McCann, Alan DeFries, your front row. Pace car makes the hard left down pit lane. Barney
Green
the flag
flag,
man
green
with
flag.
green in hand, and it's waving. We're back underway from Pocono Raceway. 16 laps to go. Brian McCann out to a good jump over Chris Mefford and Alan DeFries. Once again, the battle for the second spot between Mefford and DeFries. DeFries to the high side in the 71. Mefford, the 84 machine, down low. It shows 46 in the timing tower. Drag race down through the tunnel turn, still side by side through the short chute into turn number 3 between Mefford and DeFries. Mefford drives it way deep into turn number 3. DeFries there into the back bumper. Further back, Jesse Redding, Mark Truxell battling for the 4th and 5th positions out of turn number 3, down the main straightaway. Now Doug Wysocki comes into the picture. He's going to take the position away from Mark Truxell, move himself into the 5th spot. It's Wysocki, Truxell, Justin Johnson slotting into the 7th position. He's got Mark Thomas out the rear view mirror. In the 8th position, teammate Alfie Charon runs the 9th, and then it's Chris Jones back in the 10th spot. Brian McCann just running his fastest lap of the day, 54.95 seconds. Not the fastest overall. Fastest for the 3 truck. Fastest so far today, Brandon Mefford in the 83. He ran a 54.86. Certainly some damage on that machine as he works with Carson Conway for the 11th position. Conway takes it. Mefford all over the back bumper of Conway. Swings it wide to the outside. Heard somebody make contact with the wall there. Not sure who it may have been. Noah Rainwater possibly by himself, slightly off the pace. Whatever the issue was, not significant. Again, back out front, Brian McCann still with your race lead over the 46/84. Chris Mefford. He's got just under 9/10 of a second of an advantage over Mefford. Then it's Alan DeFries, Jesse Redding, Doug Wysocki in the top 5. Mark Truxell up into P6. Wysocki working on Redding here. Wysocki seems to have a bit more pace than Redding right now. Last lap for Wysocki, a 55.50 to a 55.40. Pretty close together right now, but Doug does seem to be a bit quicker. Just can't find the map to go around Jesse Renning at this point. Redding also closing in on Alan DeFries here, trying to make the move for position. Wysocki jumps down to the bottom here, gets the left sides in the grass, opens the door for Truxell. Truxell's got to run out of turn number 3. Watch this battle down the front straightaway. 10 laps to go from Pocono. Further back in the pack, Alfie Charon, Mark Thomas, the two teammates ahead of the 28 of Chris Goins. This is all for position, 7th, 8th, and 9th as they run out of turn number 3. Mark Thomas taking a look to the inside. Give Mark Thomas the 7th spot here with 9 laps to go. Continuing to watch this battle up front here, McCann still has the lead with that 9/10 of a second advantage has shrunk to 7.5 tenths. Now 8 tenths through turn number 1, but Mefford seems to be closing down the advantage. Coming to 8 laps to go, Mefford crosses the line. McCann, that is. 7 tenths the advantage for McCann over Mefford. Again, McCann still out in front, just 4 tenths of a second now over the 84 of Chris Mefford. Mefford starting to chip into that lead ever so slightly. He's close enough to sniff the draft of the 3 down the main straight. Down into turn 1, not close enough to make a move, but he continues to shrink that deficit. Three to 4 truck lengths between Brian McCann and Chris Mefford here with less than 7 laps remaining. Meanwhile, Chris Goins has hit pit lane here late in the going. He's down and away. Fuel only for the 28. Unfortunately for Goins, not getting that caution when he needed it. McCann maintaining a 3 tenths of a second advantage over Chris Mefford. In the closing laps here at Pocono Raceway, less than 6 laps remain. McCann over Mefford quarter second advantage for the 3, and that deficit is getting smaller by the lap. Out of the tunnel turn now. McCann trying to make it 2 in a row here, but he's got to get back here. 5 laps to go. Don't know if he can hold off Mefford or if Mefford's got enough to challenge for the top spot. Anton Farr says, great show tonight, and that's No Bull. Looking forward to the next race. Anton, please be sure to tune in next week. We really do appreciate you being here tonight. Next week, we will be at Dover Motor Speedway, so the Monster Mile for next Sunday. McCann over Mefford, the deficit not changing a whole lot at this point. We continue to watch this out front, the top 2. Very similar to what we saw last week at Sonoma. Except the difference is now McCann and Mefford on the same tire strategy, really all the way back to about the 12th spot. Everybody pit lap 53. If you remember last week at Sonoma, Zach Millett came out with much fresher tires, was unable to complete the pass on Brian McCann, had some opportunities, was able to reel him in quickly. Not able to finish it out, though. McCann ended up taking the victory out at Sonoma Raceway last week. Deficit shrinks to just over 2.5 tenths. Out of turn number 2, it seems that Mefford has the advantage at least through the tunnel turn. McCann excels, it seems, the last handful of laps through turn 3. Stretches it from 2.5 tenths to 4 tenths out of turn 3, coming to 3 laps to go. Super Sponsor Man in the stream chat. Great show tonight, top-notch production, very impressed. Appreciate the kind words. Certainly appreciate you coming on board to sponsor tonight's race. Let's ride on board with Chris Mefford. Tries to reel in Brian McCann. Heard the tires making some noise into turn 3. Certainly not going to help Chris Mefford. Deficit grows now to half a second, coming to 2 to go. Top 2, it's McCann and Mefford. 2 laps to go, coming to the white flag. Mefford was able to reel in Brian McCann, but so far hasn't been able to get close enough to do anything with the 3. Out of turn number 3 here, it's a half-second advantage for Brian McCann. Coming to the white flag. Barney's got the flag in hand. White flag is out, 1 lap to go. Change for position, the 3rd and 4th position. Jesse Redding and Alan DeFries doing battle. DeFries takes the 3rd spot away from the 21. Jesse's got the run back through the tunnel turn all over the back bumper of Alan DeFries. Not willing to give it up, wants this top 3. Back out front, Brian McCann with a 0.5 of a second advantage out of turn number 3, looking for a checkered flag here at Pocono to win the Pocono 300. Presented by the super sponsor man, checkered flag waves. Brian McCann wins it. Chris Mefford, Alan DeFries, Jesse Renning, Doug Wysocki, your top 5. So it's 2 in a row for Brian McCann. Takes the top spot here at Pocono. Started P3. Brought it home with the victory. Brother Kevin McCann having issues here about mid-race. Kevin McCann going to finish this one out in the 25th position. Tough break for the 42. Had a strong truck and an opportunity at a win here. Just couldn't make it work. Brian McCann doing his best Kevin Harvick impression. Coming up short on the length. Still impressive nonetheless. That wraps it up here. We're going to jump out and get a last break out of the way. Get our top 3 finishers in the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back to Pocono Raceway. Brian McCann, your race winner here at the Pocono 300, presented by Claude Haggerty, the super sponsor, man. Brian started in the third position and brought this machine home to the top spot. Let's bring Brian into the broadcast booth and get a word with our race winner. Brian, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Hey, I do.
Brian, congratulations. We talked to you with a surprise stage win, but not so much a surprise race win. Walk us through your race, how you ended up here to make it 2 in a row here at Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, after the stage, there was a caution that kind of put people on different pit strategies, and I was the one that went in and got tires. Then another caution came out, but that put me in first. Having new tires, fresh tires, made it a whole lot easier to get up front. Then a caution came out again, and that put everybody back on the same strategy. But that clean air, that's where you want to be. Once you got that clean air, it's hard to pass a truck that's, up front. So Chris started to run me down there at the end, and he had me a little worried. But I think there was like a bubble there. He got to that bubble, and he started getting tight, and unfortunately started dropping off. But I thought we was going to have some too wide racing. Just glad to come out here and win. I hate it for some of the other drivers out here, especially the IROC League, get caught up in some wrecks. I know my brother Kevin was out, and Brandon was caught up in that too. So yeah, other than that, it's a good night.
Either way, we were going to wonder about how that battle was going to shape up between yourself and Chris Mefford. We saw him close the gap pretty consistently, got it to within a quarter second, but 100%. You talk about that bubble, he seemed to get just close enough, and then all of a sudden clean air is super important. Mefford gets caught up in the dirty air, can't close the gap any further, has to settle with the second spot. I'm sure you're okay with that. So 2 weeks in a row here, you're here with a checkered flag. Congratulations on that, Brian. But next week, certainly a masterfully different racetrack, and that's going to be Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. What are your thoughts rolling into Dover?
Dover, I like Dover. I'm not the greatest at it, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do, but it's definitely one of my favorite tracks. I like the high banks.
Well, we certainly look forward to it, Brian. Congratulations on the win here tonight at Pocono. We're going to let you go, but who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife and family, everybody watching tonight, you guys for doing the broadcast, the admins that put on this show, and our sponsors. Thank you.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week. It's Brian McCann, your race winner here at Pocono. Next, we're going to go to Chris Mefford. Get a word with our runner-up and the driver of the number 84 machine. Chris Mefford, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got us?
I got you.
Chris, congratulations on P2. I know you had a strong run here tonight. You ran down Brian McCann. You got close, almost close enough. Walk us through those last handful of laps as you started to get closer and closer to the 3 truck. Just nothing you could do. Was it dirty air? What was the reason for not being able to get any closer there?
I think it was just more of strong points on the track. He was better than me in 3, and I was on a big long stretch, and we was pretty equal into 1. 2 was probably my strongest suit, but that run there was just so short. He set up turn 3 so well. I really couldn't get much to him. I think I got within 2 to 3 tenths. But Brian, he was a rocket ship tonight. He didn't make very many mistakes, at least late in that run. He did kind of early on, but he obviously corrected that and came away with the win.
Certainly not surprised to see some success tonight out of the IROC guys. I know you guys ran this here a couple of weeks ago, but I believe it was in a different vehicle, or was it the trucks?
It was the trucks. I set fast time, and going to turn 1 there, kind of got taken out in the first lap. So definitely a good way to rebound. Still kind of a sore spot. Just hoping that the old luck turns around. I've had you've seen, little to any luck here in this kind of series, so hopefully it turns around.
Certainly some fast guys in here. Well, anybody will take all the luck that they can get. Next week we go into the Monster Mile at the Dover Motor Speedway. What are your thoughts? We're rolling into Dover, Delaware next week.
I think you're going to have the same guys up there to beat. I know Milt's going to be fast. I'm not sure if Plot will be back or not. Brian's been fast. Neil, McCann, both McCanns, Brandon, Dougie, all them guys are going to be fast. So it's definitely going to be a thrill to watch for sure. We ran there a couple weeks back and thought I had a fast truck then, and it didn't turn out. Got killed in the long run. So we'll see what we got for him.
All right, Chris. Well, we certainly wish you luck next week at Dover. We're going to let you go. Who do you want to shout out to first?
Yep, thank you, Steve, and the HBR TV broadcast booth. You guys do awesome broadcast. Shout out to Brian for his win. I said I'm just one short, and hopefully next week can get one more better. Congrats to Alan for a good run there. He gave me a hell of a battle those first few laps there, and I was trying to burn my tires up. Good for him, and Jesse and Doug on that top 5. And also I want to say shout out to Brian Rose, I think it was. I got the wall off of the one there. I pulled it off the wall a little bit, and I think I got tagged from behind, just barely clipped him, so my apologies out to him, and hope to see you at race next week.
All right, Chris. Well, thanks for talking to us. Certainly good luck next week at Dover.
Awesome, thank you.
It's Chris Befford, your runner-up here at Pocono Raceway. Next, we're going to go to Alan DeFries, a SCAR veteran from seasons past. We'll bring him up into the broadcast booth, get a word with our third-place finisher, Alan DeFries. It's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Wait, I think my mic's working. Holy moly, I didn't think I'd get to talk to you guys this year.
Alan, congratulations, man. Long time no talk. A third-place finish here at Pocono Raceway here in the Noble Racing Series. A nicely earned third-place finish, man. We watched you a lot tonight. A lot of battles, a lot of hard-fought battles, and you make your way here in the top 3, man. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, it was kind of the pit strategy thing. That one caution that happened right before the stage end. I thought, man, I'm going to come in and get a couple tires and fill up, and then maybe at the stage break I won't need to do so much. And then I think everybody else was on the same plan, so that kind of got me all goofed up there. But just kind of stuck my nose down and tried to keep it clean, keep it off the wall. And then I think like Brian and me and a few other people all pitted at the same time there at the end, and just kind of, however many of us, I wasn't sure, but kind of put us all on the same playing field. So then it was just a matter of try to get in line and keep it clean.
Certainly a handful of you guys that pit at the same time. The top 3 specifically, pit lap 53. Jesse Redding was closing down the gap there. About lap 76 was his pit stop. So some varying strategies. It was fun to watch, certainly, but totally different change of pace. Next week at Dover, we get the Monster Mile, a high-banked concrete oval. How do you feel about your odds out there?
I like it. I like the track. It's either hot or cold for me. I either do pretty well and or I knock the wall down and end my night early. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, Alan, again, congratulations on P3 here tonight at Pocono. We're going to let you run here. Anyone you want to shout out to?
I just thank the family for letting me get away with doing this in the basement every week, and I appreciate all the sponsors that come along the season and have contributed to us. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we enjoy it, and glad for the support.
All right, Alan. Nice run, man. Good luck next week.
Thanks, see you.
Alan DeFries, your third-place finisher. We're going to pull Jesse Redding up into the broadcast booth. I know we don't typically go outside the top 3, but let's get a word with our fourth-place finisher, Jesse Redding, driver of the number 21 Super Sponsor Man Chevy Silverado. I know we typically don't do this, but Jesse, you got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
Jesse, congratulations, man. A top 5 finish, finished P4 here tonight, started in the 15th spot. A solid run. You look strong all night long, and of course you bring the race sponsors colors here into a top 5, man. Talk to us about your race.
Man, it was just all a matter of hitting your lines all night, keeping it clean, and plenty of practice in to prep for this tonight.
So you talk about practice. I know you've got the guys that you like to race with, the guys that you like to practice with, and the guys that are on your team. How many nights this week did you spend at Pocono Raceway?
We spent 2 or 3 nights here this week, giving each other pointers and just keep beating each other's lap times and competing to get better.
Well, it certainly paid off. Again, the top 5 finish here at Pocono. Again, you get the race sponsors colors into a top 5, so nicely done there. I got to ask, though, next week at Dover Motor Speedway, A, where are you going to make the race? And B, how many nights a week this week are you going to put into practice?
I'm pretty pumped after the finish this week, so I'll probably put 2 or 3 nights in again and compete with the guys and see if I can pull off another top 5 again.
All right, Jesse. Well, again, we wish you luck certainly rolling into Dover next week. We're going to let you slide here. Who do you want to shout out to?
Thanks for Super Sponsor Man for putting the car together and really nice paint to run for this week. I all the guys at RTR and HXI for working with us and helping us get better.
All right, Jesse. Well, again, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on a solid run here tonight at Pocono, and good luck next week at Dover.
Thanks, Steve.
Jesse Redding, your 4th place finisher. I know we don't typically go that route, but we did it tonight in favor of Super Sponsor Man for sponsoring tonight's race. Let's take a look at our official race results, at least as they stand for now. Brian McCann, your race winner. Chris Mefford, Alan DeFries, the top 3. We just spoke with Jesse Redding. 5th place finisher, Doug Wysocki. 6th, a solid run out of Mark Truxell. Speaking of Marks, Mark Thomas runs in the top 10 with a 7th place finish. Alfie Charon, a solid 8th. Eddie Rose with the 9th place finish. Brandon Mefford, 10th. Carson Conway was 11th. Justin Johnson was 12th. 13th finishing position, while that went to Noah Rainwater. 14th was Chris Elliott. Chris Goins was 15th. Brian Rose, 16th. Keaton Burnett, 17th. Zach Millen, unfortunately for him, 18th spot. 19th was Joe Tucker. 20th, Eric Beadle. 21st, Matt Goodell. 22nd, Jeremy Paris. Brian Torsha, 23rd. Neil Quick, 24th. Kevin McCann, a tough break for the 42. Wrecked while leading. 25th. Tristan Sykes was 26th. So that is your race results here from Pocono Raceway. Certainly congratulations are in order for Brian McCann, the race winner here. 2 in a row at Pocono. We'll see if he can make it 3 in a row next week out at Dover Motor Speedway. Certainly appreciate all you guys for jumping into the broadcast booth. If you haven't already done it, check us out on both socials. You can find the links for both of those social media platforms at hbrtv1.com. Facebook and YouTube. The streams themselves appear on the YouTube side. Facebook, a post here and there. Sometimes you get some stream links and just some random posts, but most important, guys, certainly follow us on the YouTube side. It's youtube.com/@HBRTV1.com. Got to say thank you guys for jumping in the stream chat. There was quite a few of you chiming in, saying hello and cheering us on. We do appreciate that help. It makes a big difference every night in the stream chat. Keep it up every race, and tune in, of course, next week out at Dover Motor Speedway here on HBR TV. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.